So if none, we can proceed now with the next presenter. Are you ready now, Professor Kumari? So for our next presenter is the group of Professor Kumari from Agad University, Bihar. Hello, Professor Kumari, are you there? Hello, Professor Kumari, are you there?
It seems that they're not here. I can't see them on the list. So we can move on.
Hello.
Professor Kumari?
Hello. I'm
Oh.
Musa.
Is this Professor Kumari?
Yes, please. Who's talking? Miss Dr. Musa.
Hello, I am
Hi.
Musa Yetkin.
Yes, we hear you.
I'm ready.
Yes, you can start then. Please share your screen. Yep.
The effect of using steel fiber in joint mortar on the failure behavior of masonry walls. I'm Musa Yetkin. I'm research assistant and PhD student in Fırat University in Turkey. Paper's title, The Effects of Using Steel Fiber in Joint Mortar on the Failure Behavior of Masonry Walls, Musa Yetkin and Yusuf Calair and Kürşat Esat Alyamaç. Abstract. Masonry structures are the structural system in which the walls are carried. These structures have a brittle behavior due to the materials that make them up. For this reason, masonry structures or walls exhibit a sudden fracture behavior under lateral loads such as earthquakes. Due to this behavior, many masonry structures have collapsed from the past to the present under earthquakes, and accordingly, loss of life and property has been experienced. This station reduced the confidence in masonry structures and thus the interest in constructing masonry structures gradually decreased. In the study, microsteel fibers were used in joint mortar to reduce the brittleness of masonry structures or to delay their sudden collapse. Within the scope of the study, diagonal compression test was applied to masonry walls produced in structure bond type. Using solid clay bricks as masonry unit and reference mortar and microsteel fiber reinforced mortar as joint mortar thickness 20 mm. As a result of the test, the behavior of masonry walls was compared with each other in terms of crack shapes and collapse patterns. At the end of the study, it was determined that masonry walls formed with mortars containing microsteel fiber behave better than masonry walls formed with reference mortar. Firstly, masonry structures are the oldest structural types that have an important position in human history. These traditional buildings, which have emerged as a result of thousands of years of structural culture, have survived to the present day since they are produced with materials resistant to external influences and have facilitated our knowledge about their technologies. These walls have been widely used as load-bearing evolved from the past to the present, but reinforced concrete and steel structural systems have become more widely used in the modern era. Figure, the oldest known structure in history, Turkey, Göbekli Tepe Temple, Şanlıurfa. Many studies have been carried out in order to better understand the behavior of masonry structures under the effects of earthquake forces and to improve the behavior of these structures. For example, Aletci and Shermi and Dubey and İlki et al. And Büyük Karagöz et al. And Mezra and Özsayın, etc. Studies have shown that the improvement of mechanical parameters such as maximum load displacement capability, load carrying capacity, shear strength that masonry structure can carry is a subject that has been studied and attracted by researchers. In the study, different from the literature, it is aimed to improve the mechanical parameters of masonry structure by using different mixing ratios of microsteel fiber in the joint mortar. Within the scope of the study, physical and mechanical test of the material, brick, sand, cement, microsteel fiber, that will form the masonry wall were carried out. Later, masonry walls were produced using these materials. These walls were subjected to the diagonal compression test after 28 days. In the process of forming the masonry walls, solid clay bricks were used as the masonry unit. Compressive strength of bricks was determined, and water absorption and the unit volume weight. In figure, masonry solid clay bricks in compression test. Cement, sand, and water were used to create the mortar, which is the material that is used to form masonry walls by connecting the bricks together. The mixing ratios of the mortar were chosen 1 and 4, 0.62 for cement, sand, and water respectively. In the mortar, Sembir 42.5 R type cement was used as cement, and 0 or 4 millimeter aggregated diameter sand was used as sand. Density of the sand used was and the water absorption percentage. Experimental study, microsteel fiber was used in certain mixing ratios in the mortar. Mortars that don't contain any fiber additives were accepted as a reference mortar, and the mortars formed with microsteel fiber, a percentage of 1 and 2 and 3, FM1, FM2, FM3. Mixing ratios per microsteel fiber was used. The properties of the microsteel fiber used in the study are given in table. The masonry walls were produced using solid clay bricks in the structural bond, a single row of approximately 610 and 610 and 90 millimeter. The thickness of the joint mortar for the masonry walls is chosen and 2 centimeter vertically and horizontally. A total of 12 wall samples were produced, 3 for each wall type, reference mortar, and wall produced with water with the 3 different microsteel fiber ratio. While producing the wall samples, special molds were used to ensure the joint thickness of 2 centimeter and the straightness in the vertical. Masonry wall specimens in figure. The masonry wall specimens were subjected to the diagonal compression test 28 days after production. The method of application, this test specified by the standard RLEM and ASTM. The standards are based on the principle of applying a load at an angle of 45 degrees until the wall sample collapses to the upper corner point. All experiments on the masonry wall samples were carried out by the compression test device in Fırat University Construction Materials Laboratory in Turkey in figure compression test device. Cracks and failure modes in MWRM samples. Figure 1, mortar fracture and separation between brick and mortar. Figure 2, crushing under the upper steel loading shoe and failure. Yeah, in MWRM samples failing.
Excuse me, sir, you still have 1 minute remaining.
Yes, of course. And diagonal cracks, bricks fracture, and separation between brick and mortar. When the masonry was produced with reference mortar are examined after loading, it was determined that cracks occurred along the loading direction on the walls. It was observed that there were crashes in the bricks mortar at the steel loading shoe where the load was applied, and there were separations between the joints and the bricks. And cracks and failure modes in MWFM1, crashing under the upper style loading shoe, brick mortar fracture and brick fracture, separation between brick and mortar fracture, and brick mortar fracture, partial diagonal cracks, MWFM2 samples in samples, crashing under the upper steel loading shoe and brick mortar fracture, and microsteel fibers when the mortars fractures, separation between brick and mortar in MWFM2 and in MWFM3, brick mortar fracture, partial diagonal cracks, brick fracture. And microsteel fibers when the mortar fractures. When the walls formed with microsteel fiber mortars were examined after loading, it was observed that cracks occurred along the loading direction in the walls, but as the amount of fiber in the wall increased, the length of these cracks decreased. That is, it was observed that the cracks didn't extend from the upper steel loading shoe to the lower steel loading shoe. It was determined that there were separations between the joints and bricks in some parts of the walls. However, since microsteel fiber was used in the mortar, the samples didn't suddenly fail, and no separation was observed on the walls. Conclusion: within the scope of the study, it was aimed to increase the load carrying capacity of masonry walls and to prevent total collapse by adding microsteel fiber in certain mixing ratio into the joint mortar in masonry walls. When the behavior of the walls during loading examined, it was determined that crashing occurred in the brick and joint mortar under the upper steel loading shoe for all samples. It was seen that separation occurred between brick and mortar for all samples. For all specimens, it was determined that in some areas of the masonry walls fractures occurred in the bricks as well as the mortar. It was understood that the length of the cracks starting from the bottom of the upper steel loading shoe to the lower steel loading shoe decreased as the amount
Your time is up.
of 1 minute. It was determined that there was no total collapse in any of the MWFM1 and 2 and 3 type was formed with microsteel fiber mortars. As a result, it's thought that use of microsteel fiber in masonry structure with a bridal system will make the structure more ductile, so it can be appropriate in joint mortar. We would like to thank Fırat University, MF 2012 and MF 2019 project. Thank you for your attention.
for that nice presentation. So, do you have any questions with Sir Moses' presentation? So, if there are no questions, we can move on the next presenter. Are you still, are you there now, Professor Kumari? Are you there now, Professor Kumari? Are you ready to present? Hello, Professor Kumari.
I guess she's not there.
Are you ready? Can you now present?
No, we don't see Dr. Kumari on
Hello.
the list.
Yes, I am there. I am here.
Oh, yeah, you are.
Anupma Kumari. Yes, ma'am. Are you calling Anupma Kumari?
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes, yes.
Dr. Musa, can you stop the sharing?
Yes, ma'am. I am proceeding.
And before Dr. Musa needs to, okay, thank you.
So, can you proceed now with the next presenter?
Dr. Mobo,
Yes, sure.
I'm don't listen. I don't hear.
Yes, Dr. Mobo, it's hard to hear your voice because you're using the headset. It's better not to use them, I think, because we hear you really badly.
I'm here.
Shall I proceed?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
ma'am?
much better, yes.
Okay.
Audible?
Okay.
I am audible.
Yes, you are, and please make it a full screen, please, and then you can start. Thank you.
Means I start my video. Hello.
Yes, you can start your presentation. We see your screen right now.
Good evening, ma'am, and good evening, sir, to all. My topic is on adaptive measures for sustainable condition in Sundarban by various institutions. Sundarban is in West Bengal, India. Okay. Introduction. The Sundarban region is one of the richest ecosystem in the world with globally high levels of floral and faunal diversity. It covers approximately 10,200 square kilometers and known for exceptional biodiversity, including numerous threatened species such as royal tiger, estuarine crocodile, Indian python, and several species of river dolphins. It is also home for 25% of bird species and 10% of mammal species in India. It is also considered as natural heritage site of world. It is also home for 25% of bird species and 10% of mammal species in India. The inhabited areas consist of 54 islands populated by over 4.4 million people whose development opportunities are limited. The forest of Sundarban forms a powerful natural barrier that protects Kolkata metropolitan area of 14 million inhabitants. Other human settlements from cyclone rising sea tides and other adverse natural events. Destruction of the mangrove forest will seriously affect the quality of life and the expected changes due to global climate changes, as well as local anthropogenic forces will also causes compound losses. It will also be threatened the long-term survival of globally endangered species such as Bengal tiger and many species of fish that rely on mangroves as reproductive ground. This is the figure, Sundarban area. Adaptive measure. The recommended strategy of Sundarban is based on the cross-sectoral, spatially sensitive approach. It includes the multiple sectors such as energy, water supply, education, and others are highlighted in the possibility of development of the region. There are four major issues: vulnerability reduction, poverty improvement, and resource degradation, and biodiversity conservation. It provides many benefits, such as it assesses the potential and traits of among different sectors, overarching spatial strategy, recognized intervention, and investment. Decade long-term success in helping preparing underserved population of Sundarban people for economic opportunity depends on three types of spatially intervention: especially blind, connected, and targeted. The population of Sundarban is in transition zone and faces high level of poverty, malnutrition, poor health, limited access to education, and high risk for natural disaster. Postnatal care and nutrition and immunization program for young children are among the steps which will be stabilized for basis of future learning and success in labor market. Methods. Various national and state level developing administrators and agencies are active in Sundarban. This region contains national park with multiple zones and associated with statutory conservation and development requirements, and thus there are numerous central agencies present with mandates and activities concerning matters ranging from coastal issues to on market funding. There are 19 different matters ranging from coastal issues to on market. There are 19 different government of West Bengal agencies that have formal mandates to implement one or more programs in Sundarban. The Department of Sundarban area has a specific policy that recognize regions, students, poverty, and accessibility issues. DSA is only organization with special mandates to address to the region challenges. The Sundarban Development Board is created and bound under DSA, which function as distinct development agencies guided by board members. So DSA was created in response to clear and specific need, and its action have been dependent on various factors. Strategies for poverty reduction and based on the sustainable livelihood opportunity require eliminating all unsustainable income generation activities. Opportunities exist to develop livelihood cluster in stable zone, that is peri-urban areas closer to Kolkata. The employment growth for a stable zone would primarily be value-added resource-based job, primarily fisheries, also include commercial or light industries. Employment jobs, in addition to expanding livelihood option in stable zone, enhanced employment opportunities must provide for transition zone who choose to remain in the area, and those must be environment sustainable. The principal possibility of improving livelihood in transition zone consists of opportunity in the following area: ecotourism, agriculture, fisheries. For poverty reduction based on sustainable livelihood opportunity requires elimination of all unsustainable income generation activities currently taking place in the forest. The recommendation: Government of West Bengal should consider creating Sundarban planning risk management as a spatially oriented government organization to set regional priorities and the long-term vision facilitates interagency cooperation and implementation efforts. Government of West Bengal should work with Government of India to reassess the importance of Sundarban with regard to climate change. In particular, efforts should made to gain an agreement to ensure that Sundarban identified as priority for climate change mitigation and adaptation effort and enable region to benefit from RED Plus funds. DSA should be strengthened. State agency funding allocation for work in Sundarban should be based on evaluation by DSA of performance of agency that receiving prior funding. Additional institution is strengthening effort focuses on enhancing cooperation between pair of sectoral agencies including forestry, agriculture, fishing, etc. Now, point, concluding my paper here. Conservation and management of Sundarban mangroves. The important productive and protective function of mangroves. Government of West Bengal has made significant strides in promoting mangrove development. It also releases funds for intensive mangrove conservation and management in the Sundarban. Decline in mangroves forest cover had been stopped by 1990s and between 1997 and 2007. The mangroves coverage in West Bengal almost entirely in the Sundarban increased from 2,123 kilometers to 2,152 kilometers, an increase of 29 kilometers, according to the Indian State Forest Report prepared by the Forest Survey of India. Conservation and management of Sundarban wetland. The Sundarban wetland is one of the identified wetland under the National Wetland Conservation Program. The Sundarban wetlands serve as a breeding ground and nursery for a large number of aquatic species. However, the wetland is threatened due to overexploitation, uncontrolled fishing, pollution, and unregulated tourism. An amount of inner amount 87.7 million has been allocated to the government of West Bengal for conservation and management of Sundarban wetland. The funds have been provided for activities such as wetland mapping, habitat improvement and restoration. Institutional strengthening efforts should focus on enhancing cooperation between pairs of sectoral agencies, including irrigation and forestry, to encourage mangrove growth along areas that become available for restoration as a result of embankment retreat and realignment. Thank you. I'm concluding here. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Kumari, for that wonderful presentation. So, do you have any questions, dear colleagues, with regards to the presentation of Professor Kumari? So, if none, we can move on. We can move now on the next presenter. So, our next presenter is
It's me, I
from the
think.
Department of Material Science and Technology in Ilsa, Hungary.
Yeah,
Professor,
could you please first stop sharing the screen?
can you stop? Can you please stop the sharing your screen?
Okay, yes.
So, hello everyone. My name is Hussam. I'm a PhD student in Miskolc University in Hungary. Today I'm gonna present the microstructure change of different welded advanced high strength steel after flam straightening. We're gonna share the experiment results for 3 different advanced high strength steel and the microstructure change and mechanical behavior of those materials. First of all, I'm gonna start with the small introduction, materials used and experiments procedure, the experiment results received, and small conclusion as well. In last few years, the advanced high strength steel, it became very useful in many domain and industries such as automotive and aeronautic industries. Why? Because of its possibility of term of weight reduction, safety improvement, and performance. Also of its good mechanical behavior and weldability and paintability. It's the important points of industry. Why? Because it's the most important method used for joining the materials. And for those materials, after the weldability, several defects can be received. One of them, or the most common, the deformation received after welding for those kind of material is longitudinal shrinkage, transversal shrinkage, or angular distortion. For us, we're gonna try to weld 3 different advanced high strength steel. We're gonna check the deformation received after welding, the mechanical and microstructure properties after welding and after straightening, and finally we're gonna check the microstructure change for those welded material after flam straightening. So we used 3 different advanced high strength steel as S500, MC, S690, and S960. For all of them is the same geometry, and we use the GMAW welding. It's one of the common welding, and one microstructure or optical microscope for microstructure check. So as I mentioned before, we used the 3 different advanced high strength steel. So after welding, we cast 3 of them in order to check the microstructure change for different materials. We concluded that there is a microstructure change in heat affected zone for all the 3 materials. For the first one, the S500 MC, we received typically microstructure change in some heat affected zone, and also some acicular binite and quasi-perlite structure affected in the same zone for S500MC. For the second material, the S960, the same deformation has been received, plus some grain growth of austenite and visible binite also. For the last material is the same also, microstructure change plus some more martensite has been generated in the heat affected zone. After the welding, so we applied the flam straightening for all our materials, and as we can see here in those graphs, so the deformation has been reduced in all of them, but it's persists. As we can see also, the same type of deformation has been received is the ball-in deformation for all of them. And the next step right now is to check the microstructure after flam straightening for all of our materials. So as we checked in the microstructure after the straightening, of all our materials, the main microstructure received after welding, it's persist, and the number of microstructure correlated grain size simple doesn't does not change as well. So the average of grain size measured increased in our samples, so which can affect the strength of our steel straightened. So that means the materials after the straightening, the strength of the material after the straightening, it decreased. So as a small conclusion, so for this experiment, so we can conclude that the microstructure change for all those type of materials does not persist after the straightening, and the same deformation has been received for all of the materials using the GMA W welding. Also, the average grain size upgraded for all of them. That means the strength of our material decreased in all those type of materials, and the microstructure changes has been received for all of them in only in heat affected zone. And also the deformation after welding, it cannot be generated, so it has been received different deformation for all of the materials. So I think this is all for my presentation, and if you have any questions, so I'm here for answer.
Thank you for that nice presentation, sir. Do you have any questions, dear colleagues and scholars?
Okay. Okay, if you have any questions, so stop.
That last image you have put very interesting.
Thank you.
So I think that's it. We can move now on the next presentation. For the next presentation, we have Professor Dr. Ritu from India.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Good
start
evening,
now.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening from India. I'll be
Good evening, you're audible.
okay. So I'll be presenting about virtual circular economy in agriculture. Why I have chosen this thing? Coca-Cola is a company which has come up with Minute Maid, and it is helping the farmers in India in agriculture with this virtual circular economy. So I did a little research about them, and other companies are also following it. So I'll present it now. Visible?
Yes.
So Minute Maid virtuous fruit circular economy. Minute Maid is from Coca-Cola. So how they help in this virtuous fruit economy? So they have food processors, the Coca-Cola system, the community farmers, and that leads to for fruit circle economy. How do they do it? They have done in the form of beautiful advertisements. So what is this circular economy is that which reintegrates food and technology and energy production with water and waste management. It generates jobs and income in rural and urban area. This has created wealth that stays within the local and regional economy. Transformation towards relocalized food system significance helps to address climate change and other challenges. The challenge is to design resilient food system with citizens to reduce ecological footprints and foster local community demographic control over the means of life. Rather than just localizing food and agriculture in isolation, we need to consider what way we can integrate food and energy productions with water and waste management in a diversity of local contexts in rural areas at different scales. So Coca-Cola has come up with this circular fruit economy where they are working on this Minute Maid project. So how do they work on this? They have demo farms, they have more resistant high yield variety, deep irrigation, high tech training programs, ultra high density plantation techniques, crop distribution, even crop distribution that helps in price stability, localized procurement, assured payback. That's a win-win situation for the farmer and the company both. Better standard of living and livelihoods because of this circular economy. And they have modern nurseries which helps and motivates the farmers and people. So this is Unnati interventions which Coca-Cola is doing in India. So 95% of the local produce agriculture ingredients they are using there, and USD 1.7 billion investments they have for the first phase. They have started in 2017. So this is the type of advertisements they have. So what is this project and how they are doing is the company uses food products in four ways. First, it entails the enhancing the portfolio of juices with fruits that grows in various regions of India and marketing the fruits processed juice format under brand name Minute Maid. Second, adding juice to the sparkling products. Third, creating innovating new products with Indian fruits. And lastly, increasing the share of Indian agri exports to the global Coca-Cola system currently stands for US dollar 240 million. Coca-Cola Indian interventions across the value chain starts the farm gate will increase productivity, income and reduce drive exports and flow back the resources into the farm. An estimated 2 lakh farmers will benefit from this 5-year roadmap, which would be ending in 2022. It started in 2017, in which 2.10 million tons of fruit is likely to be processed. So this Unnati Orange project of Coca-Cola, I had done a little analysis. How do they work? They work with Jan Irrigation System Limited, and the project aims at quality, productivity, and profitability per unit of land. It almost 50% higher juice content than the traditional methods of variety of agriculture in India. It creates a holistic impact. The project emphasizes on knowledge dissemination, easy availability of sapling, and demonstrated impact through demo forms. The pictures I had shown over there. The project is operational across the water stressed regions where there was less water. They have help in water management also there in Maharashtra, Amravati, Akola, and covers the orange belt of India across Chindwara in Madhya Pradesh. So it helps in water management through demo forms they are having, modern nurseries they are having, knowledge dissemination is there. So, and they have a tied up with Jan irrigation system for further technology. So the company is using it in 4 ways, this reverse circular economy, and an estimated 2 lakh farmers will be benefited from this project. So this is all from my side. After Coca-Cola has done this project, many other companies are also coming up. They are also having this virtuous circular economy so that farmer is happy. Basically, India is an agricultural country, so it gives a boost to the economy in that way. By procuring the raw material and maximum utilization of resources. That was all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Rito Talwar. So are there any questions to her presentation? So if there are if there are no questions, we can move now on the next presenter. Okay, so our next presenter is from the Department of Chemistry, Amity University from India, Dr. Shalini Jaiswal.
Good evening to all.
Good evening.
Good evening. So I'm going to share my screen. Just please confirm me. My screen is visible to everyone.
It is visible.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So my research topic is basically eco-friendly synthesis of novel parazolo-imidazole 2-thione derivatives. And in this method, I'm going to basically eco-friendly, you can say that synthesis of compound by the help of Montmore-Illonite, and that is also called as K10. And this work is basically divided in a 4-part. So this is a 4-part introductions and what are the basic principle of green chemistry and how microwave is going to work for the synthesis of product. And third one is procedure, which procedure I'm going to follow to synthesize this compound. And last one is a conclusion. Okay. So now I'm moving to the first part. So first part in introduction. So for the synthesis of any drugs that is available by today, that is basically you can say that broadly categorized in a 2 category. One is a conventional method, and conventional method is basically a very, you can say that, old method in which a compound is going to synthesize, but that has some drawback. You can say that they required a long time, and at the same time there is a requirement of basically a proper setup. And one thing, the important drawback, that is basically they are going to pollute the environment. To avoid, so to remove such kind of drawback, we are now moving to a new technology that is called microwave assisted organic synthesis. So this method is basically going to basically solve all these drawbacks as much as possible. So in this method, we are going to synthesize a compound by the help of microwave radiations. And what are the basically advantage of these method? The advantage of these method, when we are going to synthesize a compound through a microwave assisted organic synthesis, so the first most advantage that they are basically, you can say that, eco-friendly. And second, the you can say that the yield of compound, basically pure compound, is very high. And second point, you can say that the rate of reaction. So you can say that if the compound is going to synthesize through a conventional methods, so they are going to take a time in hours, but in the case of microwave assisted method, the time is required in basically minutes. So there you can see that a large difference of reaction rate. And at the same time, we can also synthesize a compound on the basis of selectivity. If we want RS, R compound, then we can get R, and if we want S nomenclature of compound, then we can also get S nomenclature of particular compound on the basis of their optical activity. Now moving to the second part, and second part is basically representing why I am going to synthesize this compound parazolo-imidazole 2-thione. What are basically advantage for the synthesis of this compound? So the basically advantage of for the synthesis of this compound, because this compound have a very renowned, very well-known antimicrobial activity. Because what are the reason behind for this antiviral activity or antimicrobial activity? because when we are going to compound the pyrrozole with another heterocycle compound, so they are going to enhance their antimicrobial activity. So that's why we are choosing this compound. And for the synthesis of this compound, we using Montemor ilonite or K10 as basically a solid support. And next part, that is basically principle. What are the basic principle? So we can say that a basic principle are exactly what are the reason behind using microwave side synthesis. So these are the basically principle of the green chemistry. So selectivity, eco-friendly nature, along with enhancement of yield and milder reaction condition, and the important thing, a reduction in the reaction time. And I already told you the this in this kind of mechanism we are going to use a microwave reaction. So these are the basically their wavelength, frequency, and energy of microwave. So this is basically for a principle. And now I'm going to explain why, in which way microwave is going to convert reactant to the products. So this is basically a microwave heating mechanism. So the important thing, when we are going to pass a compound, when we are going to place a compound in any instrument or any apparatus that have a microwave radiation, so that microwave radiation is going to directly, you can say that interact with the molecules or atoms, and they are directly going to hit that molecules. And due to this, these atoms or molecules directly absorbing that radiation, and there is a no time lag. So due to this effect, the product reactant is directly going to convert into the products. So due to this, there is a very small requirement of time. You can say that the time is going to reduce, right? So I'm moving to the next slide. So this is a major part, or you can say that what exactly I'm doing in this my research. So this is a scheme by which I'm going to synthesize my compound. This is a final compound. So what is basically I'm doing this? So in this scheme, basically first we are going to mix this compound. This is an explanation of this compound. So we are going to mix aryl thiourea with chloroacetic acid and along with the aromatic aldehyde, and we are using Montemor ilonite as a solid support. We are going to mix all these mixture in a solvent, and when the compound is going to completely mix, we are going to evaporate all the solvent to avoid any kind of pollution to the environment. And then compound is taken in a beaker and going to subject in a microwave, and with a power of 600 watt, and the time for the completion of reaction is basically 4 minutes, and we are check after each 2 minutes reaction is going to complete or not. And which kind of method is used to find out the reaction is going to complete? The method is basically TLC. So by the help of this instrumentation, I'm going to check reaction is going to complete or not. If the reaction is not completed, then we are again going to put a same, you can say that mixture in a microwave. And again, I'm continue for the 2 minutes until the reactant is going to convert to the products, right? So by this way, we are going to synthesize this compound. So these are the basically chemical reactions by which first we are basically find out, we are basically able to synthesize 4A compound, and the name of that compound is a 3,5-diaryl benzyl geno 2-thioxohydrotone, and the final compound is this one. So when we are going to react this compound with hydrazine hydrate in the presence of glacial acetic acid, that compound is going to convert basically pyrazole imidazole to thione derivatives. So these are basically a procedure, and this is a most important part, that's showing why we are using this microwave method and how this microwave method is better as compared to the conventional method. And these are basically, you can say that a different compound, aromatic compound we are using in the synthesis of compound. And this is a comparison when we are going to compare the microwave method with conventional method. Microwave method, you can see that the time required in minutes, but in the case of conventional method, time is basically required in the term of hour. And second, when we are going to compare on the basis of the yield, you can clearly see that in the case of microwave, the yield in the basically range of 80s, But in the case of conventional method, yield is very low. So that's why we opt this method for the synthesis of parazole, imidazole, 2-thione derivatives. And this is basically, as I already told you, how structure is going to identify, how we can find out that the compound we are going to synthesize is exactly same. So we are going to use these different methodology, infrared technology, proton NMR technology, along with we are also going to use, you can say that UV-IR technology to find out the exact structure of synthesized compound. And this is my conclusion part. So in this paper, we just try to synthesize a compound by the microwave method and with the help of, you can say that K10 solid support system. And we know that why we are using this microwave method, because the method is basically, you can see that follow all the principle of green chemistry. And at the same time, we are also able to synthesize a compound on the basis of regioselectivity. And why we are choosing only this parazole imidazole derivative, because this compound have a number of antimicrobial activity, and these are the references. Thank you everyone for listening me. If anyone has any question, then you can ask me. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor, for that nice presentation. So, do you have any questions with regards to her presentation? Do you have any questions? So, if none, I think that is the last presenter. So we can now conclude. So thank you everyone for participating in our second International ICONTECH Symposium on Innovative Surveys in Positive Sciences. So stay safe and stay healthy. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Dr.
you.
Royland.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. And I have a little announcement to make for you. If you check your email address, you'll find your participation certificates are already sent. Your coordinator is really fast. She just told me the news. And yes, if you have any other request, any question, please feel free to tell me right now, or you can email her as well, Dr. Alina. So yeah, thank you all and have a safe day, and hope to see you again.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any idea when the full text will be published?
Yes, Dr. Alina tam metin konusunda soruyor da hocamız ne zaman yayınlanacak?
Yazılmıştır orada. Katılım belgesiyle verilmiştir orada.
Efendim?
Hocam tüm bilgiler katılım belgesiyle birlikte mail yoluyla verilmiştir.
Tamam. She just said that everything is sent to your email, all the these dates and calendar and everything you need.
I have not received my
You
certificate.
You didn't receive your certificate yet?
No. I just checked my mail.
Okay. So Alina hocam Ritu Talvar daha alamamış sertifikasını.
Gönderdim hocam.
She will send it right away. So please check again later. And thank you all. Yes.
Okay.
Take good care and goodbye.
Thank you, Samira, and thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.